in Lviv in West Ukraine for the annual book forum. Joining us today is a very special guest. Sofia Riabchuk is the head of the Children's Forum here at the festival. Sofia, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Not really the head, the coordinator.
Coordinator, very
yes.
good. Yeah. So tell me a little bit, what is the Children's Forum about?
Actually, Children's Forum, that's for the first time this year that we have the Children's Forum like it is. A very big fest for children with different activities. Obviously,
we have this, the conflict in East Ukraine. Now, children's literature, the Children's Forum, I must assume, must be at least one place within the festival where this does not feature at all. We don't, I mean, the children's area of the festival must be a zone of innocence, free of this conflict.
It is, actually. However, we have a few books, and some of them are, I think personally, even very good, that speak about a war, not directly, not about that war in the East exactly, but a war in something, in general, and it's psychologically to help children psychologically to overcome, because they do hear and they do see what's going on, and some of them even are refugees, for example.
I was going to say, I think particularly children from East Ukraine, from the Donetsk and Lugansk regions, who have had to leave their homes or who have lived through some of the fighting, they must be the ones who need help most of all.
And they do come, and mostly in organized way. I'm telling you, these organizations, social organizations, they do organize different groups of children and bring to the fest. So there are particular books. Do you see now these books emerging that are designed for this audience, for refugees, for IDPs, for children? No, I wouldn't say that they designed for some audience exactly. They are designed to children in general. Like there is a book by Old Lion Publishing House, which is called a War in City of Rondo. So there is a city of Rondo where the flowers grew, and then the war came and the flowers perished, and how it restored. So this, on the one side it's quite a far story from what's going on, but on the other side, symbolically, it's very important.
And you think it's very important for children, because children, if you approach something directly, like you talk about Donetsk or you talk about the Donetsk People's Republic, they're never going to understand that, are they? They need to engage with something on their own level.
Especially small children, they do not even understand what a death is. They don't understand these notions. So. But in this very tale way, they do understand much more and much better. And
do you feel that literature will play a very important part for children as well when they're developing and growing, especially in this time of conflict, that literature can play a role to help them to get through this time and to grow?
Exactly. Like this particular literature I'm telling you about, for example, this book, which is about war. It helps to overcome such things quite directly, because it is about war. But in general, literature is something that helps every person to develop the critical thinking, the horizon. So I think reading itself, it's very important for any people, for any person, for children and adults.
And why do you read? What do you read? And why do you read?
I do read novels. I do read a lot of children books because I have two little daughters of 6 and 3-year-olds, and I do love children books actually. And I think like each adult has this very nice feeling from reading children literature. It's like you talk to a child inside of you, right? And of course, I also read a lot of scientific, like popular science literature, and also I'm a translator of a French book by Françoise Barbegal called How to Talk to Children About Art. and this is also my mission, I try to persuade parents and teachers that the creativity is very important, and how to develop creativity in children. Because you know the statistic that statistically children from 3 to 6, they use the 98% of their creativity, and from 13 to 16-year-olds, they use only 10% of their creativity. So it dramatically falls down, and it's something that is very important, because creativity is needed in each and every discipline. Like in IT sector, you have to be creative. In business sector, you have to be creative. So that would really help, but somehow it perishes. And
this part of your work, part of your aim is to try to keep that percentage higher.
Exactly, and I think the Children Fest itself, it's also about creativity. Different people, adults, show children how to be creative, how they can do that or this, and I think it's very important, yes.
Do you think that children's literature has a role to play in creating national identity? Because it strikes me now, at the time, we have the conflicts in East Ukraine, but apart from that, Ukraine as a country as well is actually trying to find itself a little bit at this time. And so I wonder, is there, for example, literature produced in this country for children written in Russian, for example?
Yes, of course, it is. However, in previous years, I don't know how it's going, how it's right now, but in previous years, for Russian-speaking Ukrainian authors, that would be much more useful, or to be published in Russia, because the audience grew, enormously. Right. And for Ukrainian publishing houses, it was more interesting to publish Ukrainian authors, because they could not compete. Publishing a Russian-speaking author, you cannot compete with Russian, Russian market. Yeah. Yes. So that was quite difficult, and now I don't know how it's going to work.
Because I know in Kiev, at least, there's some in literature, in cultural circles right now, there's actually quite a lot of hostility towards Russian-speaking artists from Donetsk, and I wonder if that's going to affect, for example, the publishing industry. Are we going to see less books published, less Ukrainian authors, for example, who write in Russian?
Well, I'm not sure about the hostility. In a sense, it depends what the ideology is. If there is any ideology behind it, there could be a hostility. But if it is just a good writer, I'm sure it's not important. And there are, for example, in Book Forum, there are even writers from Russia who came to present their books, and there is no problem with that. So this is not about, the hostility. It's probably about the ideological thing. If you write about, if you speak a lot about how good is Putin, and you love about it, and this is not the good literature, I would say, but it could be. I don't know, actually, that's hard to judge.
But hopefully, within children's literature, within the book festival at least, for now, we can just concentrate on children's literature and...
Yeah, and if speaking about the national identity of children, yes, Ukrainian literature probably forms national identity, because you have good books in Ukrainian and you like reading them. But I think in general, the national identity is formed by what you read and how often, and how do you like it or not. So in this sense, the good children's literature is needed, and the more you read, the more you feel yourself in this world, and then you understand, is it like your country, do you like it? Is it your nation, do you like it? How do you want to improve it? You find your place in this context better.
Sofia Riabchuk, many, many thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
This has been Ukraine Today in Lviv in West Ukraine at the annual Book Forum. We've been joined by Sofia Riabchuk, the coordinator of the Children's Forum here at the festival. You're watching Ukraine Today.